Hello, cats and kittens, or Jose Yaroshka, back in the Crisis Corner on Manga Monday, and we're looking at the conclusion of what is essentially the conclusion of the Kaido Luffy fight. I got my man Dave in the house.
What's
Dave.
up?
Now, it's been a while. I haven't been doing any reviews in a good while, so I figured.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, hey, I've been busy doing stuff, life. Now, the interesting thing here is this. I figure this is a good jump on point because it's essentially the conclusion of the fight.
Okay.
There's stuff that's still going to have to go on. There's still going to be, the Navy's coming in. There's still little bits that got to get cleaned up. But essentially, Luffy Kaido is done. My question is, how do you feel about the fight overall? Did it meet the expectations that you had of the fight?
I'm gonna say for me, outside of I'm gonna, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm complaining too much because I actually enjoyed this particular fight. And as One Piece fights go, this is probably one of my absolute favorites. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say it definitely met my expectations. I do, however, feel like the ending was a little rushed. I wouldn't have minded another chapter or two for this particular battle, just to have them mix it up just a little bit more. But overall, I think I enjoyed this one. What about you?
Rushed is a good word. Although it lasted a long time. I don't know how long it's been going on, the actual fight.
To be fair, yeah, a very long time.
Like a year or something.
Yeah.
Since they got to the roof and started fighting. And I'm not even going to go back on Oda and, his whole thing about, he didn't know how it was going to end, but he didn't think that it would just end with a punch, which it actually ended with a punch. But it wasn't so much the punch; it was the fact that he actually, he awakened his devil fruit, and then what the devil fruit was. Yeah. So really, it was the Nika fruit being, basically activated, whatever. And that was what really won the fight for him in the end, among other things, because we got to get into the...
We're going to get into it. We're going to chop this one up.
See, I look at fight, I got a thing where I call the turn the corner fight. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, they say, Batman, if he has, prep time, he could take out Galactus or whatever, right? My measurement for a fact is turn the corner. You walking down the street, you turn the corner and dude's right there. And he says, it's on, man, we got to fight. No prep time, just you and that cat. Turn the corner and there he is and we got to fight. Nah, he ain't beating Kaido that way. I mean, if he had a crew with him and he turned the corner, which is basically what it came down to. Now, and I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? That's been indicative of his fights since probably Rob Lucci, I guess. I think Lucci might have been the last person that he fought.
And he beat straight up.
He just basically had to just knuckle up and beat him.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say it's been a running theme post time skip that I always feel like if Luffy immediately fights whoever he just fought again, he would still lose. So somehow or another, that fight out due to outside interference, and we'll be fair, this isn't a standard boxing match. These are pirates going at it, so there is no cheating. Cheating is allowed. We'll say that's an acceptable course of action. So a jump is okay, but like if it was a straight one-on-one fight, I always feel like right after that arc is over, if Luffy battled them again, he would take that L. So this is if he fought Doflamingo right after Dressrosa, I got Doflamingo winning that fight. And it wasn't until he fought Katakuri that I thought he would beat Doflamingo in a fight straight up. So at this point in time, I can say that to my mind, if he fought Katakuri again, he would beat him in a fight straight up. At this point in time, but that would, if he fought Kaido again, I got Kaido taking this. Even straight up 1-on-1, just the twos of them. I got Kaido taking that. But
I think he won't. I mean, and he wasn't even technically even fighting Big Mom, but we could throw her in there too. We're talking those two Yonko. Could he beat them immediately?
No.
He would need to master the Nika fruit for real.
Agreed.
And upgrade his hockey.
Yeah.
But he's not that far off. I don't think he's a model.
Oh no. Oh, I mean, I think we agreed on that. I think outside of these Yonko, I think I got Luffy pretty much taking almost everybody else in the world of One Piece outside
that we know of.
Yeah, I mean, we know of that we've seen do something.
Yeah,
I mean, Luffy, he a hard matchup for anybody. He definitely number one in the worst generation. I mean, outside of possibly Blackbeard, number one worst generation. Number one supernova, easy.
Right.
Yeah.
And because when you look at it, the only things that kind of disappointed me in the fight is that some of the things that were foreshadowed never really got to the whole thing. I mean, Zoro's thing where, it was, we was thinking, oh, what's his legacy with Wano? Is he going like use my man's blade to maybe cut an arm off that dude or something? I don't know. Stuff like that. Stuff like even the role that the other two Law and Kid played in it, I think was rushed. I mean, I know we're talking about Luffy and Kaido, but I even thought that the three captains was going to jump and just go away with the dude. But once you put Big Mom in there, it kind of
that was Big Mom. Her presence, and not to say, because I can tell you at this point so far, I have thoroughly enjoyed Wano. So I think Oda's done a great job. I'm going to say that I do actually agree with you in that I think all the major fights, the upper card at this point in time were rushed. So I think, Big Mom versus Law and Kid. And in all honesty, if anything, that's the only one I'm actually going to tell you. I got a major problem with the ending, but I feel like that in and of itself was rushed. I tell you, King versus Zoro felt rushed to me. Sanji versus Queen felt rushed. I felt like we had a little bit more that they could have done, and I actually would have liked Who's Who versus Jinbei to be a little longer. But that's neither here nor there. That's not necessarily upper card, but just another fight in there that I felt like went a little faster than I thought it should have.
Agreed. I mean, another thing I thought was maybe the big three was going to take Kaido to, but once Sanji and Zoro got, not wrecked, but when they won their fights, but they weren't in a condition to fight any longer
to help anymore
after that.
Yeah.
So once that happened, that was done. He was going to have to deal with them by himself, or you got to deal, Yamato or somebody else had to help him out. But, you couldn't get that, which I thought would have been cool, But, I mean, bottom line, I'm not knocking Oda. I mean, Oda's my dude, he can't do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah.
But I will. I mean, I'll say what I got to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm reading his book, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm still going to read it. I'm still going to read it. He still got me.
Yeah. I can criticize and say whatever, but in the end of the day, I'm reading his book.
Well, I'm with you, and because I'm torn on that one, because I'm in so much that I think Kaido is just, I think execution wise, I'm not disappointed with the Yonko. I'll tell you that off the break. Like I just think that these Bambas are straight monsters. So keeping that in mind, I do think that, in all honesty, Luffy should have had some assistance for real, in putting this man down. I will say that coming out of it, I do like that for all intents and purposes, Law and Kid, they jumped Big Mom. They pulled out some, magical awakenings, they whatever. And in all honesty, I honestly still feel like they should have. I mean, they pushed her off the island as opposed to beating her. Right. So as far as we know, she wasn't knocked out when she went down. Let's get into that for a second. I mean, it's been a second. Now, they at the end of the day, he stabbed her with the gamma knife, whatever. They went all the way down to the land, and I think he ran her through it. Like, was it a shock that he hit her with? It was something to that effect. So, for all intents and purposes, they essentially pushed her down through Onigashima. So they pushed her down through the dome. I mean, not through the dome, through the actual Onigashima. So she went through the island. And she got, falling. So if this was a wrestling match, she was tossed over the top rope.
Right.
and knocked out. So that's how I eliminated, as opposed to her being beaten 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. So
she took a rail gun and she got stabbed through with my man's knife, and then the rail gun knocked her off. Basically.
Yeah. So
also, like a force.
Yeah, she was put in
no force trauma tape. Boom.
She was put in a silent bubble by law.
Right.
And then if memory serves, kid, came down, hit her with the elbow off the top rope, knocked her through the ring. Yeah.
Okay.
So
the silent bubble was to keep.
So she couldn't call her. She couldn't call for help. So she couldn't call Prometheus or Hera or whomever, so she can get a ride. So at this point in time, when she went down, she couldn't get back up. So it wasn't. We knocked her out. So it's different because Luffy knocked out Kaido at the end of this fight.
Yeah.
So he KO'd this Bama. He knocked out. He beat Kaido at the end of their contest. Whereas Big Mom we had some thoughts. We had, damn you, Roger. Why'd you have to, like whatever. So we got her. She was still kicking, as far as I know.
Right. I mean, it was like shit. Eyes was white.
Yeah. So I mean,
talking trash on the way down.
Talking trash on the way. So I'm not necessarily mad. That she went out that way, because I'd have been real bad had they beat her. Like, I could tell you I'd have been livid, but
I think she's still in play for what you call them
for Elbaf.
For Elbaf, she might. Still
I wouldn't be mad because Big Mama monster. I wouldn't be mad if that's the first Yonko Luffy takedown for real.
Yeah,
I would not be mad.
I will say that, because now he's in a position where, depending on what happens between he and Elbaf,
yeah,
he could contend without assistance if he can activate the. If he can do that awakening on demand and just go, whatever that was, gear 5. If he can go gear 5 on demand, he got a shot.
And to me, that'll be the fight that would get him on that Yonko level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, legitimate, if he mixes up with any of the Yonko, it could go either way. And I think that's the level. That's the next level for him.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to level up. So he needs to master gear 5.
Yeah. I mean, because it's not, let's be honest. I mean, Kaido fought 15 dudes while carrying the island on his back.
This dude is a monster.
It's confirmed that it would, it ain't like he just lifted the island and it was just I mean, like Doflamingo. It seemed like when he put up the barricades, it was activated and that was it. And it wasn't really like straining on his stamina while he was fighting Luffy. Now, I don't know how he did that. It's a pretty good feat, to be honest with you, to have some kind of autonomous jutsu that you can activate and just leave, and it tracks on its own and it don't bother you at all. Not bad.
I agree.
But surely it's confirmed, like when he started taking damage,
the island started to drop. So that means he was carried. Yes. Yes. Kaido is a monster.
Yeah, a couple of 15 dudes. Some of them came back, some of them whatever. Because Luffy got knocked out 3 times?
Luffy, he was knocked out. I think at least twice. I think when it was the worst generation versus the Yonko. I think Luffy got knocked out twice at that point. He fought 1-on-1. After the worst generation, he got knocked out. Yeah, at least at least thrice. Yeah, at least thrice. That man got knocked out. Yeah. So this is, Kaido. I am not disappointed in any way, shape, or form by the performance of the Yonko, especially Kaido. Like, that man was a monster. Like, 15 dudes is not an exaggeration. The Scabbards, Yamato, and those 5 cats of the worst generation, Luffy, Zoro, and them. This dude was putting in work.
Took them all on.
While carrying that island on his back.
Now, maybe only problem that he had, only fault I would give him is maybe he didn't take him as seriously as he should have when it was down to the worst generation cats.
I mean,
maybe he should have emptied the tank quicker. But then again,
that wouldn't have been Kaido.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I like who he is. I think he's a very layered character. I think because he seemed, when initially he seemed very simplistic, but there are things about him that exceptionally layered that you just have to factor in. Like he respects strength. He you'd be hard pressed to convince me, even based on the fact that Yamato is his kid, that he was coming to take Yamato down for real in any way, shape, or form. And when they in their little skirmish, that's why I'll tell you. And this is an aside. I find it hard to power scale Yamato based on that fact. But essentially, this man, he respects strength. He enjoys it. So at no point did it feel like, until it was close to the end where he was like, these Bamas aren't going to bend. I'm gonna have to kill him. Yeah. Was he really? I'm gonna have to kill you. That was serious. So,
and especially when it started crossing his mind that Luffy might have been Joy Boy, because he in his flashbacks, basically that's the dude that he was waiting for. It seemed like, and all of that cast him in a different light, kind of like he's on Whitebeard's level where he's a gatekeeper.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like he was waiting for that dude. I take the L's. That's cool because that means Joy Boy's here. You know what I'm saying? Which somebody seemed like, I don't know. You just get the impression that was somebody that he wanted to arrive.
Okay.
So he's like, I ain't gonna say it's not a relief, but he was holding things up until that dude shows up, and then he's a liberator of some sort. But I'm kind of tossed with that because he was doing some messed up stuff up until that point. So I can't say that he was like, he ain't a decent dude.
No, he's not a decent dude. He's not a decent dude.
He got a different kind of code. He operates on a different level. But he was, I guess you're saying supporter, or Joy Boy meant something to him.
I guess the idea of Joy Boy, I agree with that. I think it did. And I think in some ways, I agree with you completely that he was a gatekeeper for Joy Boy. But I also feel like, in some ways, he believed that Joy Boy was also a myth. Like, this dude can't be real because there's nobody out there that's going to stop me. And if he exists, then somebody gonna have to prove it to me. So it's one of those. He a hard-headed gatekeeper. He's not, like, I'm just gonna be easy. I'm just gonna come out the way. I'm gonna do me in the meantime. So he was a mean dude, and
because there ain't no question he was like offing people and putting them to sleep.
Oh yeah, he was a villain.
He was a villain.
Yeah,
he was a proper villain.
A proper villain. I like it too. And I liked him, and I like him. Like, proper villain. Yeah. I'm with you 110% on that one.
Now, what do you think of the Nika fruit?
I actually, I like the Nika fruit. Honestly, I like because I'll be honest with you. Because when you start, because at some point or another, and I think it happens, or it's happened to everybody who reads One Piece. You start to think, well, this don't seem like rubber.
Yeah.
Something about it just seems a little different. Whereas it's just not. The math not mathing, and you're like, well, wait a minute. And as we go through these gears, you're like,
the one that got me was Red Hawk. I said, that don't make no sense. I said, why does you burst in the flames? Rubber don't have nothing to do with fire. I was trying to, go with that. I said, all right, so he activates his hockey. And maybe the hockey is burning. All the energy vibrated this stuff. I said, but what that got to do with fire, though?
And they got nothing to do with it, dog. And
I could never come to terms with that,
Man, it was so I could kind of do, Gear 2 somehow or another. He was pumping his body so fast that he, okay, all right, what? It's a comic book, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And Gear 3, I'm blowing air into whatever. It was really, for me, I got you, Red Hawk, but Gear 4, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just like, the bound man, his whole face, everything to change. It hardened to do. I'm like, he was getting more and more cartoony as we just got along. The stuff just got crazy and crazy. I don't know.
Now, my next question is he going to continue training under the assumption that he's working with the Gomu Gomu no Mi?
I think so.
And if so, does he understand what he just did?
in terms of
Of
awakening.
just the I mean, his awakening was kind of weird, man. I mean, like when you turn other people into cartoonish looking thingies, and the stuff that he was doing was, you know, borderline magic or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it because he developed all his other gears based on the fact that he thought he was working with rubber. So all right, fine. I guess you could he's just look at it as his understanding of his awakening is that he can, I don't know, turn things.
I mean, in some ways, so he at this point, I think the idea is it's cartoony rubber, but it's rubber in its ultimate cartoony state, and he's able to take that cartoony state and, you know, apply it to other people. So I think for all intents and purposes, he's going to be under the impression that I'm working with the Gamu Gamu no Mi until somebody, and I'm going to say that I believe that somebody is most likely going to be Shanks, is going to tell him, nah, dog, this ain't the Gamu Gamu no Mi. This is the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's
so. All right, put it like this: I'm on the roof. He was up there alone. I guess the CP guy was he up there to see something?
Yeah.
So the CP dude saw that, but nobody else saw what happened on the roof.
I mean, I think
was
Yamato and I think Yamato and Momonosuke did they not glimpse him or something? Did you say that's Luffy?
Right. Because Momonosuke was in the air trying to make this comment.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because like the thing that he did with like, man, Kaido's, what did he do something with his eyes or something? He popped up out his head.
Yeah, I mean, he punched him straight through his head, you know?
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, okay, so he just considered that a rubber feat. So I guess he's going to figure that he can affect things just like
the environment, like everybody else, awaken it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So somebody at Shanks going to have to tell him, man, you want some next thing, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, and
rubber, dude, you got.
I mean, but some of it it's always been a little weird because when you start talking about, well, this is what a Logia is, this is what a Zoan is, and you know, he himself is rubber, and I guess you get kind of like that with like Das Bones, who turns into swords or whatever. Yeah. But for the most part, I mean, he himself, I mean, that's a Logia type. You know, situation, you know, that he himself has been bouncing bullets since we met him. Like he's been rubber. And like I always go back to the end of Enies Lobby, when, you know, Usopp is doing his apology. Mm-hmm. And he's doing all this other stuff and he's saying all this other crap, and Luffy sends out his arm. Mm-hmm. And that thing seems to stretch forever. Yeah. Like it's not moving, it's not doing any of that stuff, it's stretching forever. And I'm just like, at what point does it stop? You know, like you know, some of his stuff is just like, this is comic book magic.
Right. I mean, and it hung in midair until dude realized rubber stretches back. You know, it snaps back once it reaches the end of its, you know, elasticity. That only just hung in midair until my man grabbed it. And then he pulled him back in. So.
I don't know, man.
That's a good point. Yeah.
He's just been doing all kinds of stuff. You know, it's been a lot of comic book magic going on since we, you know, seen him. So I don't, in my mind, to as far as he's concerned, he's a rubber man.
Okay. So he's gonna until somebody tells him otherwise.
Until somebody tells him otherwise, I think that's just what he believes.
You think he's continuing with the whole thing, or this is like killing off his lifespan? Or?
See, that's the interesting thing to me, because I'm real curious, because I mean that's a manga, a shonen trope that, you know, whatever. Like I don't necessarily, you know, look, I ain't about that. You know, as far as I know, you know, that's not my favorite one. You know, I just like what.
I mean, because if that's the case, then they're saying that it has to be unique to. It had to be unique because look, you look at dudes like, all right, Rogers died early because he caught a disease. We don't know what the disease is. Till then, we can't say.
Okay.
But every other person that went out to sea and made a name for themselves, right? They had to go to extraordinary lengths to get stronger or whatever. Rarely did he do anything to cut his life short. Nah, he just got stronger.
He got stronger.
That's how people do. Shanks look like I don't look like he killing himself.
I mean, what is Luffy doing that's so different from these other men? Like, as far as I know, Kaido, the man, he pushing 60. Like, I mean, why he get to live?
I don't know. It had to be unique to that fruit because everybody else just gets stronger and stronger and fights, and that's it. And if they die early, it's because somebody killed them, or
and that's and then because we haven't even really talked about the whole Joy Boy thing, the whole Joy Boy aspect of the fact is that you have to have this particular fruit, as far as I can tell, to be Joy Boy.
Yeah.
And then you have to be someone who is so great that you're going to awaken this particular fruit,
right,
to be Joy Boy. And as far as I can tell, and I don't know what the time frame is, but it seemed like 2 cats in the last 1,000 years have awakened this particular, like, I got you. Okay. So is it you awaken this one fruit? Is the fruit killer? It's killing people? It sucks life. Is that how to give joy? It has to take life?
Now the journey with Ivanko, where he, had to get the hormones, that's one thing.
Okay.
I mean, that's 10 years. So if he was going to live to be 100 and whatever, now you're down to 110. Okay. But I got you. That's an acceptable loss. I can see him going there. Now, if you early how he was, when Lucci told him, you cutting into your lifespan, pumping yourself up, it turned out that's probably not true. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's a function of that fruit, he didn't do anything that he couldn't do otherwise. I mean, he was just doing something that he didn't realize, could be done.
I agree with that.
It's not like he was going to some insane lengths to boost himself up. He was just using the properties of the fruit that he
had a step in the direction of awakening the Nika
right.
No me. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I agree with that.
These gears level ups are not unnatural.
I don't think that they are. I think that they are. That to me is progression towards awakening. That's a progression to gear 5. So to my mind, you got to go through these other gears to get to that point, or to open your mind up to be able to awaken this particular fruit. You got to be able to say, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this too. So why can't I, make a cartoon Rubber World?
Hey, and at that point in which towards the end of the fight, like his heart stopped or whatever, and he just started that joint back up again off a straight will or whatever. I mean, I ain't gonna count that either. I mean, if you could, if the fruit basically says you can fight freely and do anything, then avoiding death should be in there. Restarting your heart, I guess, is a bonus. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I mean, but I think it's gonna be one of them things where I'm not a fan of him dying at the end of the series, but that's just it. It's what it is. If he's flagged for death, and so be it. I just wouldn't go. I wouldn't go there. That's all I'm saying.
We're talking into the series. Like, I mean, I guess. If I'm being honest, I'm not a fan of that either. Real talk. Of all the characters, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. Not because of this fruit. I can tell you that. If you want to give him some nonsensical disease like Roger got, that comes par for the course with figuring out what the One Piece is. You get, you can track the, end of the road disease. I got you. Okay. But nah, man, I'm not for it. Not because of the fruit.
I mean, because if it comes down to one of them things where he has to make the big sacrifice and give his life so that this freedom can come about. Fair enough. I mean, I figured one of his boys would jump in the way first. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't gonna let the boy die just straight up.
I mean, Zoro didn't see. He didn't see death this time.
Yeah,
Zoro flagged as much as anybody.
Because they ain't just gonna let. They're gonna be like, nah. You gonna get to see this freedom like everybody else.
Yeah.
Because you gonna fight and you gonna get the benefit from the rewards. My thing is, I would just have them sail off and go on some other adventure.
I mean,
that's just how the journey will end.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind, if it came down to it and somebody had to go. I wouldn't mind if Zoro, bit the bullet,
Yeah.
and went. I mean, because quite frankly, his dream, to my mind, is one in which he don't have to be allowed.
Yeah, all you
Once
gotta
it's
do is
been
be,
achieved, I'm
yeah.
the greatest swordsman. I didn't done it. I don't have to be the greatest swordsman for 10 years. I don't need to be whatever. I just need to be the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it and you can go. So
I can see the people that I would flag, probably just two, him and Usopp.
Usopp to be a great warrior. Okay.
I mean, people that I think would straight up take the hit for him. Any of them would.
Yeah.
Although the lower you go down the tiers, I got questions, but but I can see because Usopp needs a big ending of some sort.
He needs something. He needs something. He needs his own arc. He needs a moment because he hasn't had one.
He's the only dude that ever really rebelled against the captain, to be honest with you. I don't count Sanji's little thing. I mean, he straight up quit the crew and went on. He went off, you know what I'm saying? He's the only man that ever copped a mutiny on him. So it'd be fitting if he gave up his life for captain.
Okay. I can respect that. I can respect that, yeah.
But all right, back.
All right.
So that pretty much covers it. I mean, I like the fight. I think it was a bit rushed.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, towards the end, it was a bit rushed and didn't get into say the same for some of the side fights. I was surprised at how I didn't see any of that Nika Hito thing coming at all. I mean, you could see that the fruit was weird. Yeah. And they've been planting the seeds that it's not what it seemed to be because they kept referring to, we hid the name of the fruit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can see that coming, but the fact that he can do all that bizarre stuff, I didn't see that coming at all.
I mean, I guess I agree with that. So I think, I figured Gear 5 had to be coming.
Oh yeah.
What Gear 5 was, that definitely was a surprise. Yeah, I think so. I think I didn't necessarily think he would turn into slapstick.
No.
I don't know that I had envisioned that. Because you see it and you think, this is clearly, Mr. Fantastic. This is the elongated man, and he's doing some crazy stuff in that regard. But no, that's not the Marvel character he was inspired by. This is slapstick, and you're like, well, wait a minute, look that up, guys. Slapstick. 90s character. But ultimately, yeah, so I did not envision that. So I was caught off guard.
Last point. There seems to be foreshadowing that he's gonna lose his abilities. And it's gonna come down to hockey. You agree?
I don't know that I think he's going to. I think Oda's trying to make it clear that it's not it doesn't matter what these, I don't know, I don't want to say it doesn't matter because I think it does. Some of these fruits are broke, but it helps us as we get further along in the story to say I can deal with, like, Law's a problem just based off his devil fruit. And if you have Kaido running around saying, well, it's not really devil fruits, dog, it's your hockey, then you can kind of say, okay, I'm okay with Law being where he is as a fighter. And if Luffy's devil fruit falling, this is another broke one. Like you said, he willed himself to come back to life. And as far as I can tell, that was the fruit. So it's not the fruit. It's will. It's that hockey. It's that willpower. Yeah, the will of D, that hockey. That's what's going. That's what made Roger a monster. Obviously, that's what's gonna make people monsters. So I don't know if he's gonna lose it.
I can see him when he fight because Blackbeard got that thing where he can negate your fruit.
Your fruit. So
I don't know entirely, but at least for a period.
Well, it seemed to me it's gonna be that hockey. So that's when it's gonna matter. I don't know. He ain't gonna. It's not that he's not gonna have it. It's just he gonna have to whip Blackbeard's ass. Like, that's just all I know. So he gonna have to
just hit him with some crazy combo and just knock him out or something.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that's a fight. I hope that's a wrap.
Yeah.
And I hope Sanji, aside whatever, I want Sanji to get a fight for real too. I'm tired of this, man. I want Sanji. I want a net. Sanji. Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you like real talk. Like I feel like Queen could have been a nasty fight, but Sanji don't get nasty fights. He don't get great fights. Sanji, my favorite Sanji fight. This is gonna sound ridiculous, but my favorite Sanji fight is still Sanji versus Bon Clay. This is just my favorite Sanji fight. Like I mean, them Bama's was kicking the hell out of each other. Like that's my favorite Sanji. Every other Sanji fight, man, is just I'm always disappointed. Always disappointed.
I can't say I disagree with you. Dennis Lobby had a decent fight, but
that was okay. I mean, Jobber was a jobber at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I want Sanji to wreck, and
I still want to. Let me see. He did get an upgrade.
He did
to the what you call them, German science.
Yeah, he got an upgrade.
So he. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that might be another video. But
that's another video, man.
I mean, Zoro always gets some cool upgrades.
He do, like man. He get the better fight. Yeah, man. Like this. Give Sanji some love, Oda. Give Sanji some love.
Because I mean, I don't know who he's getting matched up with on what you call him, screw Blackbeard's crew, Lafitte, right?
I guess. I mean, Lafitte the navigator, so maybe. I mean, we'll see how it go. But I mean, whoever it is, I need Sanji to fight.
Martial artist of some sort.
I need Sanji to get a fight. I want him. I want to see Sanji, tear into somebody. I want somebody to tear into Sanji, and I want Sanji to show him, he ain't just a pretty face. He a monster.
I mean, like I said, Queen had potential. I mean, it was. But it went a little comical. So.
He ain't touch him though. I mean, I can do comedy. I don't have a problem with whatever. Not to say whatever, but like the Frankie Sasaki fight, like Frankie's fights can get a little comical. And in all honesty, not to say whatever, because Frankie don't have hockey, which is a problem for me when we get into these Yonko versus Yonko fights, which we essentially saying Luffy's crew is, hockey's essential for the Toby Ropo level cats, and that's what Frankie's supposed to be. Frankie, he got lucky. He got lucky to win that fight. It was I hit this man with a shot. It was luck, no problem. But Sasaki, it was comical, but he was tagging Frankie. Frankie was getting hit, and all I'm saying is, even if Queen is comical, Sanji he ain't put no hands on Sanji. Like that's a problem for me. This man, you invulnerable, but you still don't want to hit him. That's a problem. I mean, let somebody put their hands on him.
Yeah, true. I mean, we gotta get into the crew. Top heavy. That's all I can say. Top heavy. The bottom rung gotta level up, and like you say, I'm pretty convinced that everybody on Shank's crew got hockey, without question. I mean, maybe not everybody, but top soldiers, and maybe the whole crew, or maybe I don't know, but I don't see them surviving if they go up against. I don't see how they got out of this if they didn't have the help that they had. If I don't know, man, they're in trouble.
They won't make it. Like and this is real.
This is as far as they can go as they are right now.
And I think at some point we got to have a conversation. That's a video right there, dog. I'm gonna tell you that off the break. But essentially, and I'm talking about when we do Kaido versus the Mugiwara and the Beast Pirates versus the Mugiwara. I'm talking about we can take out. We'll throw out all the little henchmen that don't matter, and we starting from the Toby Ropo up. And I'm telling you, at this point in time, when we line them cats up, there's no way the Mugiwara make it out because the bottom is too weak. Like essentially. They can't carry their tears, and if you can't carry your tears, then people who can carry their tears are going to get jumped. It's just as simple as that. We jumping people and we putting them down. So at some point we're gonna do a Yonko battle royale, and we're gonna have to see who come out on top. Because I'm trying to tell you,
start from the bottom up. Because the dudes that get finished with their fights early, then they're gonna jump Frankie or they're gonna jump Brooke.
I'm trying to tell you.
And it's just gonna keep going up until the top three is fighting like 6-7 dudes.
And then it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's over.
I'm trying to tell you, page 1 and Ulti, like Usopp and Nami couldn't hold their fights. They can't hold their tier. Like it just it's impossible for them. They weren't going to beat the people they needed to be able to beat. So that means Ulti and Page want to jump in somebody.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
I'm sorry, we off subject. I apologize.
Right, but that's it. We good. We
good.
We good. So that was the wrap up on the Luffy Kaido fight, plus a little extra. I'm curious as to see what happens next because, like I say, the world government Marines are coming. Although Zunisha might get rid of them, I don't know.
Oh,
that might be one of them trunk joints.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think so.
There's still some cleanup to be done. I think the Beast Pirates had the fight taken out of them. I don't think they ain't gonna try nothing. It's just a cleanup at this point. The Chopper gotta, save who they gotta save. Chopper. And I'm pretty sure that he's going to cure the whole smile thing. If he doesn't, he
gotta go. He gotta
go. I mean, because he gotta go. He didn't get no fight, and and Marco was doing his job. I can't stand that. I mean,
somebody told me I was being too hard on him because he did come up with the cure for the ice only. Yeah. I guess. But if Marco wasn't there, he wouldn't have done what he did. And I'm just like, this dude getting on my nerves. He got to cure something. If you ain't gonna fight, then you gotta be the best damn doctor on the island. Like that's all I need.
That giggling stuff. He
got to do something.
He got to end that. He just got to get in the lab and figure it out, and then stop them people from laughing all the time. Because that looked like something that Marco. And I don't know if he can just sweep by and everybody stop laughing or whatever. But Chopper has to cure that laughing nonsense, and then I can give him at least his medical props.
All right, and then that's point, really.
This dude got to throw his hands up and be somebody dangerous.
I don't disagree with that, and I'm with you. It's like but for me, and I'm just like, if you can hold down your job at the very least, then I'm not going to be as mad. I'll say that. So like in Whole Cake Island, and people can say whatever, but like real talk, Sanji, and he made a comment like this to Zoro before. But I'm the chef, I'm the cook on this crew. And he baked the cake, and he baked the hell out that cake, and he toppled Big Mom. I'm gonna tell you, people can get into whatever, but
he did.
in his career, he did what he did. This is my job. I did my job, and he put his foot in it. And I'm trying to tell you, if Chopper, as the doctor, can put his foot in the situation, I won't be as mad. I won't. Like I want you to get a fight. I want you to show off. I'm with you because it's an action shown in manga. You're supposed to be wrecking. All right, whatever. But you the doctor, and if you do some doctoring and you show off, but I feel like Law comes in and he doctors the hell out of situations. I'm chopping people up. I'm fixing some stuff. Marco comes in. He's doctoring the hell out of situations. Whatever. And I'm just like, what's Chopper there for?
He should have killed them kids at Punk Hazard. He should have done a whole lot of stuff.
They needed Law to come in and do some extras. I just look, man. It's making me mad.
And he said he won't cure all the diseases. Me mad, Jose. He can't cure the diseases. Man needs to just go ahead and pack it in. He won't cure all the diseases in the world. He can't even cure the diseases just right in front of him.
He need to just go ahead and turn in that stethoscope. It's time, man. Like, go back to Drum Island, dog. You good. Let it go. Let it go.
Get that doctor in.
He need to go back. They need to bring Dr.
Swap out.
Like real talk, I wouldn't be mad.
Pretty good too,
Real talk, I wouldn't be mad if Luffy fired him. He took Law in as the new doctor. And I mean, like real talk, like at this point in time, Law gets rid of them bums. He calls his crew.
Yeah.
I mean, like Luffy gets, sends Chopper back to Doctorine. Go home, dog. We don't need you.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so like I said, we'll get to that. All right, so that's where we at now. I'm like I said, I was feeling the fight. I had some questions, but at the end of the day, the book ain't called Kaido and His Amazing Friends. He was gonna take the L. It's just a matter of how, what I'm saying. Plot armor was on Luffy's side. So he got rid of the dude, and now it's on to the next. So,
you made good points. You made good points.
It's all good. So, all right. So that's it from Manga Mondays. We look forward to the next chapter, which is coming out. They're not taking a break. So we back on reviewing. So hope you liked it. If you did, make your comments in the comment section. Till next time, stay loose.